You doing the intro?
Live from the Pines, your favorite East Texas sport podcast. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good, Jalen. Thanks for having us.
Chase,
Hey, I'm doing fantastic.
Co-host Boom.
I'm pretty good. I got a drink. We're about to talk a lot of Little League baseball, so it couldn't get much better.
Well, I hope you're drinking Gatorade pods. So we have the manager, Chase Luce, assistant coach, Paul Henderson, diehard University of Texas fan. Well, guys, y'all have had an incredible season so far, and y'all have a chance to do something big. We want to hear all about it. What's it looking like so far? Has it been 2 rounds?
1 round.
1 round.
Yeah, we've played 3 games.
Yeah.
Nice research there ahead of the time there, Jalen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll dig the holes.
We've played 3 games so far against 2 teams. So not a lot of action. It's only a 3-team district. So
Is that mainly those Tyler teams?
it's only the Tyler teams.
Well,
Tyler East, Tyler West, and Lufkin. 3-team district in Little League
well,
area.
if I can remember back in the day, those Tyler teams were always pretty decent.
Yeah, but when we got to play Little League once. So
Yeah, small girl bats.
mm-hmm.
Your brother played a little League baseball, didn't he?
we did.
I remember going to watch that.
We only got to play when we were 13 and 14. So
Chase,
Y'all played an actual Little League before, or Dizzy Dean?
no,
It was Little League. I think we started in 2013.
Yeah, 4 or 5. The year they built that field, we played on once.
Yeah. The one at the top of the hill.
Yep.
Yes, sir. We played there once, and the game got canceled due to the weather.
It's a
Might
good.
be the only game ever played there.
Yeah.
I guess for legends.
Yeah.
Hey, Chase, we want to talk to the manager first. What makes this team so special?
Well, last year had a lot of these same kids, and they won district, they won sectionals, and made it to the state tournament in Tyler. So did really well. We return. Was it all 8 of those kids? We returned.
Yeah.
We returned
9
8 of those. 9 of those kids.
Yeah.
And three different kids this year. So we have 12 on our roster. Really good group of kids. You won't hear any complaining out of them. They've been busting their butt for June 5th, I think, was our first practice. So outside of the 3 games we've had in district, we're out there 5 days a week practicing. And like I said, you won't hear any complaints out of any of them. They're trying to get better every day. They're doing just about as good as you can expect from 10 and 11-year-old kids. So we'll get tested this week. I think it'll be a lot more competitive than sectionals last year. Last year was, we played 4 games in sectionals hall last year. And, we won 50-something runs to 3. It wasn't – which was good and bad because we never saw a true test, and then we get to state, and you got 4 really, really good teams when you make it that far. And we need a little more competition. So hopefully we get that this week.
Well, that sounds great. Hall, what do you think, separates this team from teams you coached in the past, and what makes this team so special? And
Well, I think if you take a look at these kids, there's not a single kid that can't play multiple positions. They all push each other every day in practice. I think as we've gone and been younger, that if you moved a kid off of a spot, then you may have a hole there. And now you got 2 or 3 kids that could start at any position. So it's good because they make each other better. We're obviously super talented, but at the same time, you got kids that sit on the bench that are top tier players that would start and maybe be, a top 2 or 3 player on every team, if not the best player on a lot of the teams that we play against. So they, like Chase said, they work really hard. They don't complain. They get after it. Last week, we talked about it at the end of practice today. Last Tuesday, we all left practice with a sour taste in our mouth. They just wasn't their best. And the way they responded as 11-year-old kids has been pretty cool to watch and see them mature and do the right thing and respond. It's not things that a coach can do, or whether you're 11 years old or 20 years old. It's something you got to find within yourself, and it's been fun to watch them do that and see them mature in a small amount of time.
I know Trey can add on this a lot right here. Men, 11, 12-year-olds, practice baseball. You got everybody going to the pool, hanging out, having fun. But like you said, practicing 5 days a week, maturing, as the season goes, that shows how, different these 11-year-olds are compared to most teams. Most time you have team moms, you got 10 team moms that are throwing pool parties, not worried about practicing baseball. And 5 days is a lot to ask out of 11-year-old.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. What's kind of the biggest hurdle to overcome when you've got 12, 11-year-olds that you're trying to get out there to practice 5 days a week? I mean, because I at 11 years old, I was going to the pool and playing video games, and sometimes in that order. Like, that's all we did all day. It was pool, video games.
We rode a lot of bikes as kids.
Yeah, you rode the pool too. You rode the bike to the pool, and that was it. Yeah,
I think it starts with your kids have to like playing. So, if they don't want to be there, you're going to see it in them right off the bat. And we allow swimming. We're not those types of coaches, so you can't swim. But
it'll have you too tired.
Yeah. No swimming on game days. That's a given. But we tell the kids, y'all, be kids. Swim. Maybe swim in the morning before it's 105 degrees, so you don't get overheated at practice. But we haven't had one practice where we felt like the kids didn't want to be there. And maybe one. Hall mentioned that a second ago.
Yeah.
But play a lot of music at the practice. We keep it upbeat. We don't. There's no fear to fail out of any of those kids. So we're not jumping down their throats all the time. So you got to keep the practices light and just make it fun for them. And they're doing a good job. They want to be there. You can tell they want to get better.
Well, you sent me a roster, and I go through this roster. I sent that roster to Trey, and I look at a lot of these last names, and it's very familiar to us seeing these last names. And I don't know if the dads were as good as these kids are, but there's a lot of names on here we know, and a lot of baseball been played through these kids' families, and through time at Lufkin, Morris Frank Park still. So I think that means a lot to them. You get a chance to wear purple, represent your hometown, and go play baseball. So that's another thing that goes a long way. So I know y'all are headed to Austin, right?
We're headed to Brenham.
Brenham.
Yeah.
Okay.
10-year-olds will play in Elgin. The 11-year-olds will play in Brenham, and the 12-year-olds will play in Austin. And so we're all in sectionals, and the same districts are represented, and very similar brackets where we go. Kind of to match, jump on with what Chase said, that not only these kids like playing, but they enjoy each other's company. When they're not playing baseball, they're playing wiffle ball with each other in the yard. So it's doing, and don't get me wrong, there's probably some people on this podcast that are watching that have given us a hard time. Oh, y'all do this too much, or y'all are pushing these kids. But I promise you, those kids want to be there. They enjoy playing. They love it. Last year, I would say, George asked me this at dinner tonight. He said, what was your favorite tournament we've ever played, whether it was my team or Charlie's team? And last year at sectionals, we were in Bastrop for a week, and that was as much fun as we've had. I mean, last summer playing 10-year-old baseball was as much fun as I've had in that arena, because all our families get along. We enjoy hanging out together. They're all really good people. The kids carry themselves the right way because of the way they're raised. But they enjoy playing and competing together, and they understand that it's different. It's fun to watch 11-year-olds start telling each other, like, hey, make sure that you drink plenty of water tonight. Don't drink Coke. Don't drink sweet tea tonight, Cooper. Don't Tiernan, you got to go to sleep. George, you got to do this. And they hold each other accountable. And it's not me and Chase and Court telling them what to do. They start to do that themselves. And that's just fun for us as coaches, but really as dads, to watch 11-year-old kids start taking responsibility for themselves. So that's pretty cool to witness. And it's one of those deals. We want these kids to be the best version of themselves. That doesn't mean they have to be the best player. That may have to be, better than the kid on the other team. We just want to try to pull the best version of them out that we can. And as they start to make those type of decisions, then it's going to be decisions that they make the rest of their lives that are best for them in terms of how they take care of themselves and their peers and the people around them. And so it's fun to see that responsibility kind of grow within those kids.
Yeah, you could definitely see them. You can definitely see them mature. I think Griffin ordered a Cobb salad from Whataburger a couple days ago because he wanted to feel good for practice. Like,
we definitely weren't doing that.
I did have to.
How old are they? They're 11. They're 11, 12 right now.
Our kids are 10 and 11.
Yeah, we were eating double meats by then.
Oh yeah, well they do that too. But
oh yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say the same responsibility still happens as you get older, but it's usually
for sure
instead of beer, but drink water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't start really taking care of like what I was eating and what I was putting in my body and ingesting until I was 20 years old. Maybe like when I got to Baylor and realized if I don't eat right, then I'm gonna die. And I think that's kind of how these kids feel. But they take care of themselves and making way smarter decisions than we ever did when we were 11. Like you said, it was Fruit Loops in the morning, and then oatmeal cream pies for lunch. And, double meat cheeseburgers for
now we're talking.
for dinner.
It's cool. Jalen, there's 11-year-olds way more responsible than us.
Jalen says exactly what I think today.
I was asking Miss Dawn for a Coke and a hot dog at the ballpark when I was 11. And if I was lucky, she'd put cheese on it for free. That was shorter, colder.
So take us through.
We got plenty of that going on. My starting pitcher tomorrow will probably eat a chili dog for dinner.
We're
just fine.
With jalapenos.
Let's keep those names behind closed doors. We don't know who's out here watching live from the Pines.
I'm not telling you
Yeah.
start tomorrow, but I told him you better get some sleep tonight and get off Fortnite.
I was about to say, I think I see someone in the audience, which is PNG 11U. So I was curious what the sectionals that y'all are going to. You said there's 3 teams in the district. Y'all won it. Tyler teams and y'all. Who's in the sectionals with y'all?
So it'd be Lufkin, Northwest Little League, which is Austin, College Station Little League, Bastrop Little League, Washington County Little League, which is Brenham.
Yeah. So how does Brenham get the host?
No, we're not. We're gonna, just in case there's enough people watching, we're gonna not answer that question.
Yeah, that sore subject. Well, I'll tell you when we log off. I'll tell you.
All right.
There's lobbyists for the Little League organization or something?
So it rotates. Well, it doesn't really rotate. You basically express your interest in hosting the sectional, and they weigh their options and see where they want to go. But it's usually in the Bryan, College Station, or Austin area.
I think Brenham's a hard place to pick. Where do you stay at? College Station?
I mean, Brenham, yeah. There's some houses you can get in Brenham, but there's one hotel.
I forgot times have changed. You'll have Airbnb now.
Yeah.
It's also available to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I was looking at the roster. It's pretty explanatory. What everybody contributes to the team, like you said. But I
don't know. That's what I was going to ask. Who's kind of what role does all these kids have in the team? Like, what's Bowman doing? Chala, Haglin, Henderson. What are the roles of some of these kids? Who's kind of the stalwarts? Who's?
Yeah. Let me pull up what I sent Jalen, so I don't forget any kids here. At this point in the summer, we know them like the back. We know them just as good as we know our own sons. So I'll kind of start at the top here. Brody Bowman is a 11-year-old trapped in a 45-year-old body. Hall, is that about right?
He's a 45-year-old trapped in an 11-year-old body.
I had it backwards. He's a 45-year-old trapped in a 10-year-old body.
He's the most mature, like he's a grown man.
Yeah. He prays for the team. Yeah. See you later, Jalen. He said he was only having one drink.
That's what he said.
Yeah. We'll let him get back on.
Will you go sit down?
That was the dog.
Oh, man.
I don't know what I did.
Hey, one more in case he's still here. I'm going to shout out our weatherman, Clint Holzak. called the radar getting cleared at 5:15 yesterday. We got rained on the whole practice. Shout out to Lufkin City Council for the turf fields, Buddy Tim. When you come through, bud.
I was about to say, shout out that. That's got to be big for you guys.
Oh man, it's so nice.
5 days a week.
The only worry I have is we're going to hit grass and dirt fields tomorrow, and we've been playing some true hops for 2 weeks.
Trust me, you go to Kit McConaughey, you get all the dirt you need. We're 2 weeks into a softball season, and it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Jalen's batting like 250. He's doing great.
Hey, just so you know, we could pull it up. We're going to hop off subject real quick, but the old guys / the Biscuits are like 6-time city champions. If you just ask around the park, they know about us. Just ask Jalen.
It's funny. I've never heard y'all.
It's because you hadn't asked.
We're Bohica. It's our first season. We're 2-2.
We never lost 2 games.
No, I don't think we've ever.
We didn't know the rules, and
I'm shocked.
We did. You tell me how this production's working. We didn't know. You couldn't start an inning with less than 5 minutes.
Me and Trey went to the team, went to the coaches meeting, and we were about 5 minutes in there, and we didn't know anybody there. Didn't know what they were talking about. I looked at Trey and go, meatloaf from Logan sounds pretty good. And I walked out in the hallway, make a phone call, and then I called Logan to make a takeout order, and we left after that.
Yeah. Everybody on the team asked, what the rules are. I said, don't curse in front of the umpire and don't wear pants. You're fine.
There's some pants wearing dudes out there.
There's some pants wearing dudes and like their little select ball jerseys. They have like their Booma bags with their names on them. And I'm like, dude, this is a day for me to come out and sweat and, have a little fun, but we'll get back off.
If you call what you do on the softball field fun, then you got
Hey, Pods, I don't have any air. I don't have any errors yet.
Anyways, you were saying Bowman's a 45-year-old trapped in an 11-year-old's body. So
mature beyond his years.
At baseball, it never was. So.
Brody is yes sir, no sir. Shakes your hand after practice, looks you in the eye, and he has all of our kids doing it now. Yeah. So it's all we love Brody. He will play anywhere on the field you tell him to, and he's good at every position. He can catch, he can pitch. Anywhere you tell him to go, yes sir, I'll go do it for you, and I'll do it well. He does a prayer before the games. He's all. We love Brody. Chala, everyone knows the little Canadian. That's our tank. That's our muscle.
Just slap shots over the.
Yeah. Swings about really hard. He's just a bull in a china cabinet. He plays first base.
He's the guy you let off the bus first. You just tell him don't say anything. It's like he's muscle and he's real big. And last year when we were at sectionals, one of the teams, the first game was walking by us. We had our music playing like we always do, and I was like, Tiernan, just turn and face him and just mean mug him. And I had to tell him. And then they walked by and he's just like, hey guys. I was like, Tiernan, no, that's soft, man. So
Tiernan's a target hitting in the batting cage before the game. It just sounds different off of his bat. I mean, he swings so hard. And really good hand-eye coordination. I'm sure he got that from his dad back in the old hockey days. But he's one of our better pitchers. He's pretty much a pitcher first baseman. He's got first base locked down. That's our guy over there. Grayson Dew, kind of going alphabetical here. Moved over from Hudson this year. He's a stud.
Are we recruiting?
No, they're in our boundary. I mean, that's kind of what happened, really, Jalen. When they're 11, they start moving over from Hudson, Central, Huntington. They all kind of want a chance to, play for Bud next year and have a chance.
They want to wear purple.
They've been wearing purple every day, baby, and they love it. At least they act like they do. So some of the parents graduated from Lufkin, so they're happy to see them in purple, even if they're Hudson now. But Grayson plays short mostly. I will say I'm probably the first manager in Little League history that doesn't have his kid at shortstop. So. Grayson Dew and George Henderson are holding down short right now.
I don't make that decision, just FYI.
Yeah,
Grayson's an absolute gazelle. He just he moves different than anybody else on the team. He's skinny as a rail, but he's strong. He hits he's got a violent swing. He moves super fast. He's super athletic. One thing you haven't been able to say about this group of kids for a long time is oh man, those guys can move. we are slow-footed. They inherited all that from their fathers.
Yeah.
And but Grayson moves different. He's a speedy kid.
So he moves kind of like I do.
No.
When they say last call.
Yeah. He's a basketball kid, but picked up baseball a few years ago, I think, and just one of those kids that he could probably go grab a tennis racket or a golf club tomorrow and be good at it in 2 days. He's one of those types of kids. But he's my leadoff guy, shortstop. One of my better arms on the mound, so he's important. William Haglin, everyone knows Willie. Swings it from the left side, plays left field mostly. William's dealing with a little arm injury. He's been nursing for most of the summer, so he's been taking it easy there. Normally, he would be one of our better pitchers too. So William's out there holding it down left field. George. So what was it, Hall? 4 weeks ago, George broke his wrist.
Well, 5 weeks ago now. Last regular season game, sliding into home, broke his wrist.
Oh,
and, yeah. It was a pretty crazy deal. So a game that mattered not, in a play that mattered not. He got in a rundown, and it was fun pickle deal, and then just a collision at home plate with a kid bigger than him, and it cracked his wrist. So we left the game. We left everything sitting there up to and including my family, and went over to Doc Orthopedic, their urgent care. Shout out to those guys, and found out he had a broken wrist, and so they casted him up that night. And George was obviously distraught. Just knew, hey, there went my All-Star season. And then the Derek Harper walked in and said, "Well, 4 weeks." And George kind of changed and was like, I know what plays out in 4 weeks. So 5 weeks ago we were in a cast, but been able to kind of play through that and do some things, and missed one game, but second game played with a brace on. They got approved by Little League, played with a brace on and just hit, and then played full go in the last game. So
nice.
He's good to go.
He's playing.
If I could duct tape Hall's mouth, George would be the best player in the tournament every tournament we go to.
I can see Hall as a screamer. I played for him.
I don't know.
Well, yeah. I scream at George because he's good and I know what he's capable of. I screamed at you because I wanted you to quit.
You drafted me.
No.
You're
Malcolm Easton drafted you, and I got stuck.
Who?
Malcolm.
Oh, I had it somehow comes full circle with the screaming and broken bone. I was 10. I was horsing around in the house, broke my left hand or bone in my hand on the couch. But the next day was, the little city league championship in baseball. I remember it. We were playing for the Yankees. I think Jalen was on the team.
Nah.
Dad's coaching. I come into my parents' room crying. They're like, "Oh, you're fine. Go to bed. Whatever. You got a game tomorrow. You play." I wake up. It's a little swollen, but it's not bruised up or anything. Just a little swollen, a little out of the ordinary. But I can't squeeze my glove. My dad's quick thinking. He tapes these two fingers together. I shove it in the pinky hole and squeeze it up. And it's coach pitch. So it's just like, hey, go to second. No one hits it to second in coach pitch. Well, first pitch of the game, little dribbler to me. I try to squeeze it, and I can't. And I go down to a knee crying, throw it over to first, end up getting out. But I'm crying. It hurts so bad on second base. And I look up through blurry eyes. I've got my mom jumping out of the stands, running around the dugout as my dad's trotting out to come pick me up, put me back on my feet, going, "Get up! Get up!" Not, "Are you okay?" Going, and just yelling, "There's no crying in baseball. Get up! Get up!" And I was like, okay, yeah, so that's what it is. We ended up winning the game. I got a picture of the trophy with these two fingers taped together. So that's always good. But
so
yeah,
you played second base.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And my dad coached the team, so I didn't play shortstop. Like,
well, Trey, you couldn't have played shortstop. You were a little.
Chase, tell us about those 11-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all are glory days.
Yeah.
Y'all want to talk about our team, or y'all want to talk about your? Where was I? George. So George plays third, short, and pitches. George, really good pitcher. So that was my main concern when they named me manager. in the span of 24 hours, we had one kid that made All-Stars that opted out. Had a trip plan they didn't want to skip, and he was a really good pitcher. And then later on that evening, I found out George breaks his arm, who's also a really good pitcher. So I was down in the dumps. Luckily, George recovered fast, and he'll be pitching a lot this week for us. But Griffin, my son, is next. Griffin's our Swiss Army knife. He plays every position on the field but catcher, really. And if you told him to go play catcher, he would. He's mostly third, second, first. He pitches some, and good fly ball catcher too. If I need him in the outfield, he can go play out there. He's our two-hole hitter. Griffin swings a heavy bat too.
He's got another kid with a violent swing that he's one of those that sometimes you tell the kids to get outside the cage and watch him swing, just so they'll be like, that's how you attack a baseball. Griffin pitched. So Griffin started out. We ran him out their very first game of the year against Tyler East, and he was excellent. Didn't get a lot of support from his defense in the first part of the game, but then pitched really, really well. So that was encouraging. I mean, he's always been able to do it, but just go out there, kind of that pressure, that first game on the road, he did a really good job. Chase might not say that since it's his dad, but it was really cool. He came out there. I mean, and there was like a lot of fire in him. You could see, and it carried the team. It was cool.
Yeah, Griffin's one of our younger kids who's kind of stepped up over the past few weeks, kind of trying to be a leader. We told him first practice, we need at least one of y'all to be the alpha here, guys, and carry this team. And if all of y'all do that, that's great too. But one of y'all needs to carry this team. And Griffin's trying to do that. A lot of them are trying to do that right now. So it's good to see.
And shout out to Griffin if he can hear us in the background. Today's his birthday.
Oh, he's upstairs playing Call of Duty, I think.
Well, happy birthday, Griffin.
Yeah.
From Jalen.
Cam Perry, that's Court Perry's kid. Smaller bodied kid. He's a little firecracker. He plays right field for us. Cam has the best mechanics on the team. When you ask Cam to do something, he'll go do it without a frown. He plays right. He can play second. He can play left. He can do just about anything. And he's also a bunting machine. So you give Cam the bunt sign, he's getting the bunt down. He's sacrificing himself. So Cooper Platt, he's another Hudson kid. Cooper's been playing with our group of boys since we were 6. So, and that is Bud's great-grandson.
Great-grandson.
Yeah, that's Bud's great-grandson. So he's one of our catchers, just like Kyle Lovelace was. There's some bloodline there. So Cooper's learning to catch. He's doing a really good job. Cooper's also the loudest kid on the team. And he's the one in team huddles where you kind of have to, hey, Cooper, you listening to me? Yes, sir. Well, what'd I just say? Well, I don't know. So we got a lot of silly on the team, and he's usually the captain of the silly. Wouldn't you agree, Hall?
No, there's no doubt. But Cooper, he's the easiest kid to get onto, but also the easiest kid to laugh with. He's a fun kid to have around, and all the kids love him. He's sort of I would call him a glue guy in terms of just keeping some this levelness with the team, that he never gets too serious, which is sometimes a good thing, and reminds you that they're 11 years old. He's a cool kid, but he really in the past, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something's like really clicked with him, and he's become an excellent receiver at catcher, and he's done a really good job. Yesterday we threw some bullpens, and he was phenomenal. He looked great.
Knox Renfro, some of y'all might know Brandon Renfro. That's his kid. Hudson kid moved over this year. Really good ball player. We are about a month in with these kids. I haven't heard Knox talk yet, but I feel like if he does talk, he's a really sweet kid.
Yeah, when he does talk, he's just saying yes sir and no sir. He's very well mannered. He'll do whatever you ask, and he another one of those kids probably can play any position, and he just likes to be out there. He's a grinder, and he can move a little bit too. Pretty athletic kid.
He's fast kid.
He's a cool kid.
Swings a good bat too. You know, sometimes he's a skinny frame kid. He's a smaller body kid, but every now and then he'll put one off the fence. You're kind of like, where did that come from that kid? So we love having Knox around. Ryan Thomason, he was on the team last year in our state run. Ryan's another kid where Ryan picked up catcher this year, I think, in league ball, and I mean he frames better than any 11-year-old I have seen. I mean, he's going to make it tough on umpires. You throw a ball 9 inches outside, Ryan's going to bring it in and make it tough on an umpire. So he's got the receiving part down. So Ryan and Cooper are 2 primary catchers, and Bowman catches some too, the old kid in the little body. Ryan's a hustle kid. Yeah. He leads all the other ones. He's not going to take a rep off. And also a good bunter. I've got some good bunters on the team. I've got some other ones that hadn't figured out bunting. I don't know if it's on purpose because they don't want to bunt. They fixed the system. But, I've got some other kids that are going to get it down every time.
Videos.
Yeah. Hollis Todd, that's JT's kiddo. Hollis is another kid where you don't hear him talk much, but when he does, it's something good. And Hollis can play any position too. So if you notice, all 12 kids can pretty much play any position. Not all of them are going to play catcher. That's just a unique position. But pretty much I can point at any of these kids on this roster and say, go play here. And they're going to say, all right, I don't play there much, but I'll go give it a run. But Hollis is a little southpaw, or hits from the left side, throws righty. He's a great bunter as well. Slaps the ball up the middle, runs like a deer. Hollis has obviously been playing with this group of kids since he was 6 too. Really, this whole team outside of a few have been together gelling since they were 6 years old. So that makes
it a long way.
Absolutely. And last one, Truett Trotty. Trotty's a new kid, moved over from Hudson as well. He wears Jordan cleats, wears the chain, the eye black. He's got all the drip and all the swag. A cleanup hitter. Strong, super athletic, strong kid. Throws the ball hard.
He's a Trotty. He's strong.
Yeah, that'd be Devin Trotty.
Yeah,
line there, so he can run too. He's a very well-mannered kid, but he's also a very aggressive kid, and you can tell when he gets in between the lines, he's all business. He primarily center field and third base.
Can we see these 12 kids playing on a football team together, maybe?
Football. Let me look at the roster and see.
No, they're not. They're
other than that, I don't know if I got many football players on the kids.
They have a level of toughness in them, but I think if you ran them across the middle and let them get smacked one time, they'd all go crying to their mamas.
So no future Lufkin Panthers?
There's Brody might. Brody's tough enough. The rest of them, I don't know. Gracie would never get hit. He's too fast. He'd never get hit.
I could see a George Henderson at quarterback for the Lufkin Panthers.
He ain't fast enough, dog, not to play for Lufkin.
Well, we've got to learn a lot about these 11-year-old, 10-year-old kids and, about all the time y'all put in with this team. And, if I know Hall Henderson and Chase Luce, they're not taking a day off with these kids and they want to win for sure. And I know the kids want to win more than, y'all do. But I
don't know.
Well, one thing, Jalen, the kids, and we talked about the kids a lot, but the parents have to make a big time sacrifice and a commitment to this too. It ain't just me and Chase and Court. We get to, our names end up on the roster and they call us out, and we got to take some responsibility for a few things. But there isn't a practice where there are 4 or 5 dads out there willing to help. There's moms that are doing whatever they can. Hunter Haglin is the equipment manager extraordinaire. There is no doubt that Lufkin is the best looking squad in any tournament we go to in terms of what our kids have on the field, and then what our parents are wearing in the stands, and Court's out there by 4:45 every day getting ready to go, and there's just isn't a dad that isn't willing to help out in some way. And then the moms, there's moms out there too, but my wife, and I know others, Chase's wife, the same, and we all got a lot of kids, and they're at home taking care of those kids, and it's a lot of time every day, and we'll all load up and have to take time off from our jobs and be away from places to do things, and so it's a commitment. Sacrifice is probably a fair word, but we all signed up for it. So we knew what we were getting into, and we enjoy it. There are some it's tough. You may pass your spouse by in the night and wave, or maybe they just catch a whiff of us as we pass by. But that's tough. But grandparents, Chase's dad was out there today, and he bought Gatorades for the whole team, and he's super. It's fun. Chase will tell you. I was a yeller. Brig Luce, he's well known for having jumped a butt or two on that field. But man, in terms of how he handles these kids, he's as good an encourager and telling kids when they're doing good, helping them on what they can improve on. And from Wayne Haglin to plenty others out there, they're out there just trying to help the kids and do whatever they can. And it's fun to see all this happen and be a part of that. And so it's a major commitment from all these families, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, before we let you guys go, we're going to roll over and talk about these 12, was it 11 and 12 and 13?
No, the 12-year-old team. That's Bud's team.
Yeah, let's talk about those guys. Those are the ones you follow. Yeah, you can follow on ESPN if they get far enough. So that's kind of the community.
I've heard nothing but great things about this squad, and I talked to Jamie Davis. I talked to Austin Brown this morning. He calls me about every morning. He was like, "You forgot about the 12-year-olds," and I was like, "I had no clue." And he's like, "Yeah, you need to call Jamie Davis." Call Jamie Davis immediately. He sent me over, a four-paragraph statement about these kids. And
we could tell you all about, because we got to, so that's the league we played in this year. So our 11-year-olds had to go against these, which was an awesome test for them.
Which is going to be good for us. Yep.
Yeah. We had there's some kids that can go in the league and only get 4 or 5 hits and they're an all-star, and then they hop into all-stars and they'll bat 600. But that team's super, super talented. They're very athletic. They got some big time arms. They got some swag. They're a little different than us. Our kids can kind of be sort of robotic and methodical, whereas these kids just kind of play the game. They're junkyard dog type kids. They all play really hard. It was fun to watch them this year. I had a couple on my team. I think Chase had they were all spread out, which made it a lot of fun. But Jackson Abear is a kid that he's got a big time arm. He's a lefty that he probably throws it up there about 67, 68 miles per hour from 46 feet, which is
absolute hammer curveball, and it's about 8 inches, which is just it's going to be tough to touch him.
And from 46 feet, that's big time. And he's got a baseball IQ that's far, far above his age. Rob Davis is a big kid. He's just intimidating when he steps on the mound. He played on my team this year, and he probably throws it about as fast as Jackson. He could throw a curveball and he can throw a change up. He's the type of kid that understands, like, he'll walk out during warm-ups and he'll throw a 3 against the backstop on purpose, and then just watch the kid on deck pee down his leg. There's another kid, Chase. I'll let you talk about Braden.
Oh man. Braden's another kid, kind of like Dude, basketball player by trade, but you get him out on the baseball field, and it's special to watch. So Braden's a tall lefty, more of a kind of a leadoff role. I don't know where he's batting in Bud's lineup, but he's going to be the fastest kid in any tournament he steps in, and he's kind of a 3/4 lefty kid. He could probably, him, Rob, and Jackson are going to run it up close to 70 miles an hour on most nights. From 46 feet, that's a blur.
That's like 90, 98, somewhere in there.
That's really hard to hit. They may not touch 70, but they're 65 to 68 all the time with good off-speed stuff.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I think Jackson threw in Tyler. Jackson threw like 4 innings and struck out like 11 and didn't walk anybody, and
only threw 51 pitches.
Yeah. It's just insane. His command is good. And then there's twin brothers, Corbin and Carter Oliver. The catcher, that's Corbin, right? Corbin's the catcher.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Baseball IQ through the roof.
I would tell you he's the best. And this is no insult to any other 12-year-old I've ever watched catch. He's better than any 12-year-old I've ever watched catch. And I've watched the Fitzgerald kid do it. He's pretty he's not pretty freaking. He's amazing. But the Oliver kid, he's savvy. He could throw anybody out. And we didn't in league. We didn't even run on it. Well, I don't know that he ever allowed a pass ball, to be honest. But our kids were told not to run on a pass ball because he'd throw them out from the backstop.
And if you got on base, he didn't like that either. So he'll no look back pick you too, which is rare for a 12-year-old kid. Oh yeah.
So, but I've never seen Bud do this. But when the team warms up, he has he's got an infamous workout or a warm-up routine. It takes 45 minutes, but the Oliver boys do it on the field. The catcher does it from the catching spot, and the shortstop, he starts at first, but then he moves out to second. and they do all their throwing drills on the field. And he works on tags, and then the other one that plays shortstop, he's awesome. And I told you about the other 3 pitchers, but the best single game I watched pitched all year was by Carter Oliver. He absolutely mowed down. He threw a complete game, and only threw like 74 pitches, and I think maybe gave up 1 hit and didn't walk anybody. And this was against a team that had like 6 All-Stars on it. It wasn't like he was just going up against. I mean, he. So, and then you go and you got
Carter's actually the catcher.
Okay, so Carter, I got him backwards, but they're awesome kids too. They're well behaved, well mannered kids. Then you got a kid, all that, and then you mentioned Gage Womack, who I guess he played for Chase a couple years.
Kennard
he throws as hard as anybody, and he's probably as athletic as anybody on the team. I think he's playing second base right now, and he ran a ball down in right field down the line the other day that looked like a high school kid making a play.
Austin Reddy, another lefty. This group is blessed with lefties, which is good and bad because you want to see a lot of lefties on the mound. But then you have too many of them. You don't want to put lefties in the infield at this level unless they're at first base. But yeah, Austin Heredia, a crafty left-handed kid. He's a gamer. Jalen Bell tweaked his hammy a while back. Hadn't really played since. I don't know if he pulled it or tore it, but I'm not so sure he's going to play in sectionals. And he's one of the really, really good players too.
Super competitive kid.
Oh yeah, talked about Gage, talked about Braden, talked about Jackson Abear.
Yeah, Hank Johnson. Oh, where are you at, Riley?
Riley Fernandez, man, that kid's awesome too. Riley's had some arm issues too the last few weeks, so he's trying to get back to health. But gosh, he's fast. He holds down center field pretty well, or left field, wherever you put him. Who else we get? Yeah, Big Hank. He's a slugger.
Hank's been a cool kid that you've watched really develop over the past 3 or 4 years. That was he was a good player. Hank played on Georgia's very first team when Hunter and I coached T-ball. He was 6 and 7 years old, or 5 and 6, whatever they are, 5 and 6 years old, and a kid that's like really developed and grown into his own, really worked hard, and seen his athleticism blossom. But a kid that just grinds and people watch it. I think he was the kid that got voted onto the All-Star team by his peers this year, which says a lot. And when you talk about all these other kids and what they're capable of, for you to be the one that got voted on, is pretty cool. He's a good kid. And then I guess Eli, we hadn't talked about Eli.
Eli De La Cruz, that's the muscle there. That's the kid that's going to come up and hit the 3-run homer for you.
Yeah, he has a violent swing. It is, and I've watched a couple of them. He hits the balls with it, and these bats that y'all probably know this. These bats that we use are trash. You might as well be using a wood stick.
Heavy wiffle ball bat. They're awful. Yeah,
man. He hit the ball. He's probably hit it 240, 250, which is pretty crazy.
That's something I was going to ask you guys. What's the pitch count?
12-year-old field.
Say that again.
Y'all have a pitch count?
Yeah, 85 max at this level. Yeah, and then there's different thresholds. If you throw between 0 and 20, it requires no rest. 21 to 35, you have to rest a day. 36 to 50, you have to rest 2 days. 50 to 66 is 4 days rest. And
you can never pitch 3 days in a row. That's illegal.
So is that like something like
you have a doubleheader, you can't pitch in both games. So
like the 11-year-olds, like who's y'all's pitching coach?
Yeah, we don't have a pitching coach.
It's a tag team deal. That's what's been fun. Really, it's been about this team. Like nobody, not that I think we all take responsibility, but we kind of work in unison on what we think's best. And Chase has done I really appreciated how he's asked a lot of questions about, hey, what do you think about this? And never just rammed anything down our throat. And I wouldn't have coached that. I don't know how any of the rest of this has worked, but it's been a good fun process to like work through ideas together and talk about, well, how do you think this plan will work? What do you think about doing it this way? And we have a chart right now that we could go and we could show you our plan for how we want to attack every team from a pitching standpoint, who's going to pitch, how many they're going to pitch. Now, we know we're going to have to pivot, but it's good to start with a plan and at least have it written down.
Well, we, especially you two guys, for, coming on and doing this for us. We really appreciate you guys coming on and talking about these kids. I know they mean a lot to you guys, and Lufkin baseball, Lufkin Little League, anything Lufkin means a lot to me and Spoon for sure. That's something we care a lot about, and we thank you guys for taking time out of y'all's days and practices, the small time y'all give with y'all's families to come on and do this. We wish each team the most luck. So
if you don't mind, we've talked about the 11-12 just real quick. The 10-year-old team's got a pretty good team too, and they're a lot of fun.
Who's all there?
So I cannot, because they didn't play in our league. I couldn't name that whole roster for you.
Who's coaching?
But just so the head coach is Adrian Shepard, and then you've got Travis Phillips and Scotty West are the assistant coaches. So there's some names out there that some people on here would know. Scotty West's got a boy, Brandon Belt's son is on there. Yeah. He had a huge hit in one of their games to take the lead. And so I found Brandon during that game and said, "Hey, man, you're not the best belt in town anymore." So, but what's fun is that's what you want for you. Like Brandon, I mean, it's all about his kid, and that's what he wants. And he's been out there helping that team a lot too, which is cool to have somebody that's got the experience that he does, that's willing to come out there and teach them. I couldn't hit myself out of a paper sack. My dad, if he hears this, he'll tell you that I was not a good baseball player.
Stick your elbow out.
That's all. My toes were on the line, and I prayed to God they'd hit me in the ribs, because that was the only way I was getting on base. And so I try to teach my son to do exact opposite of what I did.
Is there any overlap between I guess, like you said, the 12U majors, 11U majors, but the 11-year-olds can play on the 12U team? Are there 11-year-olds there, or is there no overlap? Everybody's 12, everybody's 11.
So are you asking if there's any 11-year-olds on the 12-year-old team this year?
Yeah.
No, not this year. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare that an 11-year-old will make the 12-year-old team. If you have a multiple 11-year-olds on your 12U majors team, that's probably not a good thing usually, because your body grows so much, but between 11 and 13 years old, and you don't want a big group of 11-year-olds on your 12-year-old team.
I've said this a couple of times this year. So now we've played, I guess we've played 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and now 11 and 12. And to me, this season of all the seasons is the biggest discrepancy in age groups in terms of just physicality, their skill, and we've both teams are really, really good. But the difference between a 12-year-old and an 11-year-old this year has been the biggest discrepancy. These are the same kids that played each other when they were 9 and 10, but the delta between them now seems to be so much better. I mean, you take Rob Davis and Eli De La Cruz, Hank Johnson, we didn't talk about Asher Haran, who's another Swiss Army knife. He's a kid that could do a lot of things. You take their bodies and their size and just their physical nature compared to the rest, these 11-year-old kids, even our big kids, there's a big difference. And so it's like Chase said, there will be some 12-year-old teams that Lufkin plays that will have some 11-year-old kids, but you don't want too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look up next year in our group of 10 and 11-year-olds that come back a year from now. You won't recognize some of them. It's just how much your body grows today. I mean, some of them are going to grow 3 or 4 inches. Their arms are going to get so much stronger. And
if y'all win Wednesday, y'all play Thursday, right?
No, Thursday's the 4th, so we don't play any on the 4th. We had Friday will be our next.
Y'all play Friday, so y'all play in Brenham again.
Yeah, the whole thing's in Brenham.
Okay, so I need y'all to
lay out. Like, is it double elimination until the championship game?
Double elimination.
Even then.
You got to be beat twice.
Yeah. We'll send you our game changer channel there.
Send us that, but let us know. Let me know. I know Spoon's he's probably busy, but let me know Friday,
because he's going to be in Brenham.
Yeah, he's coming.
There's a high chance I will try to come watch a game, but let me know for sure. That's something I look forward to going to do. I know y'all have prepared to the top notch much as you can for this, and like you said, when you have a group of kids that are bought in and want to do it, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And it's hard to I can remember being 11 years old. It's hard to get out there and want to practice 5 days a week. I barely want to practice twice. I couldn't imagine 5. So, having a group of kids that want to go out there and play, that's huge. And I'm sure the 10-year-olds, the 12-year-olds are the same way. Like the 12-year-olds are practicing twice a day. I ran into South First Street for lunch the other day. And I see Bud walking in with 2 of the kids that are playing college ball now. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? And he's like, oh, we're back helping Bud again.
Yep.
And, that shows a lot about our community and our town because there's not too many kids wanting to do that.
Yeah, not to interrupt you, but the thing about Bud is, a lot of the players come out and it's hot and it's 2-a-days. And I think they maybe complain a little bit at the time, but I think they realize 3 or 4 years later what Bud did for them. He's teaching them life lessons. He's teaching them respect. He's teaching them, hey, it's hot, but suck it up. I guess if you want to play high school ball, college ball, no one's going to feel sorry for you. So let's start it now.
Like it started with, obviously Kyle, his grandson. And Jalen and I were the same age as him. And, we'd go out there and we'd have our, summer.
They were practicing on Sundays.
Yeah, they had 2-a-days every day. Didn't matter what.
They used to run that lap around the softball field to the soccer fields, back to the baseball fields.
It goes back further than that because
how many kids played at the next level on the Stampede team? That was that team that practiced twice a day. And that's
you walk in AAA Trophy now. There's pictures of Bud in AAA Trophy coaching guys that are damn near Chase's them age probably.
Yeah,
in there.
Yeah. No, there's. I mean, Bud. So our kids played for Bud on his travel team for a little while, and he said, "I remember back in '72, we took a team to Dothan, and we was playing, and it was raining sideways in the middle of June, and da 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 da." Yep. But and let me say, I'll say it on here. Bud and I've had our own run-ins on the field in practice. I mean, he and I don't think anybody. It's no surprise. I'm hard-headed and have a smart mouth, and so so does Bud, and so we've had a couple of run-ins, and there's some things that would I do different, and that's okay. But y'all saw the news article, and I think there's a rite of passage. There's some people that get to when they're 14 and 16 and 18 and 50 years old say, I played for Bud Maddox, and that means something. But if y'all go around, there's a video on Twitter going around right now talking about Augie Garrido, and you watch the way he went. I'm not saying Bud Maddox is Augie Garrido or Augie Garrido is Bud Maddox, but it goes back to there's a lot of people, even for me and Chase in court, to go out here and say, hey, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up Jason Perk, who kind of helped start some of this that was going on at the time too before he moved to Austin. But there have been people that are like, y'all are crazy. I can't believe y'all do this. Y'all need to let these kids have fun, and y'all are stupid to be out there doing this. And I can't, y'all should teach them how to play golf, or y'all should take them to the lake. Well, we have fun and we do all those things. They don't get it. That's not what they do, and that but these kids will learn a lot from this. It'll carry with them a long time. I can remember one of the greatest things that ever happened in my life was to win the 10-year-old state championship with my dad, my friends, and that was cool. And that's what we want our kids to have, that experience and to remember those things. But the lessons that they learn. I talked about this earlier, but the lessons they learn, becoming the best version of themselves that they can become, and learning hard work and discipline and how to take care of yourself and responsibility and respect and those type of things and camaraderie with people around you. That stuff's important to us, and we want to instill it in our kids. And we've seen it happen to people before us. Every one of those dads that's of those sons, they played ball, and I guarantee all of us could go list at least 3 or 4, but probably 10 or 12 coaches from our lives that had an influence that today has made a difference for us. And that's, above all else, if we can do that for these kids, that's what we want to do.
And me and Trey were just talking about this the other day with some of our other buddies. Like you touched on it too. Like some kids backed out for vacations and stuff, which is fine. Everybody has their different beliefs of, sports and stuff. But like, I know Trey's, we both did this, we both had the chance to do it twice. Like he had a younger brother, I had an older brother, and every weekend was at a ballpark. Mm-hmm. And then summertime came, and I remember kids talking about like, oh, we're going here this summer. Oh, we're going here this summer. And I see it now being at work, like, people coming in and like they got like 10-year-old, 11-year-old kid, like, yeah, we're going to Turks for like a week or 2 weeks. I'm like, our vacation was a World Series. You got one World Series this summer, and
Brian Orange Beach.
Yeah, you played baseball all summer.
Yeah.
You got to go to this World Series, and thank God we weren't good enough to actually really compete at these World Series. So we got beat pretty early. So that was our vacation. So we look forward to World Series. Like we knew summertime. Me and him both. We're gonna get 2 World Series. His brother's gonna get one. I'm gonna get one. And, my brother's gonna get one. I'm gonna get one. He's gonna get one. So that was our life. We knew Friday during football season, you go watch Lufkin play on Friday. Saturday, you're at a ballpark.
Yep.
That's what our lives consisted of. Like you said, everybody doesn't see it like that, and it's it's no fault to anybody. It's just different beliefs and different reasons. And, I think playing baseball and sports our whole lives, it prepares you for a lot as you get older. It teaches you a work ethic. It teaches you discipline. And, Bud's been doing this for years, like you said. So it does play a huge impact on these teams. Like you look at these teams that y'all are getting ready to go play this week. A lot of those teams haven't been practicing 5 days a week. Y'all been doing it 5 days a week, so that takes that shows a lot. Those little areas you get to tweak and work out. In practice, you have the reps there to work on those things, and you have the time.
Yep.
Right.
And it's not, once you get to this level, you practice so much because it's the little things. You get to this level, all these kids know how to pitch and hit and catch. It's do they know when it's 5-5 in the 6th inning and the team lays a bunt down? Do they know who's covering second, who's covering first, who's covering third? If there's runners on first and third and the team does a delayed steal on you to try to get the winning run in at third, what to do. So that's why you practice as much as we practice, as much as Bud practices. So when that happens in a game, it's just another play. They know what to do.
Yeah,
these kids know how to hit and pitch. It's not about that. It's about the little things and not screwing up the little things. And Bud's as old school as it gets. You're not going to wear sunglasses. You're not going to have eye black. You're going to get a haircut.
No sunglasses?
No sunglasses.
Hey, we ain't wearing them glasses, Jalen. Come on, guy. You can use that hand and shield the sun like this, like we used to do back when we was playing in '76 before they had the sunglasses.
One of my clients, Ray Turner, him and Bud coached together for years, and Ray was telling me some of the stories. So they go to these World Series in Florida, and he's like, they didn't take. I don't think they took a lot of parents with them.
He took a bus, man. He loaded up in a van.
The white van.
He still has it.
He still has the van.
They load up and go in it. Yeah.
He'll take them to Whataburger before. You got to order the same thing. I think they all have to get the number one. But
listen to what's going to.
And they're his family for the summer.
Yeah, so listen to what's going to happen to that team.
Get with it.
They play tomorrow. Is that right? They play tomorrow, Chase?
And
they play.
They play Austin. They're gonna face a big kid tomorrow.
Yeah. And then if they win in Austin, they got to be back in Lufkin for practice Friday.
So there you go.
That is good. I do remember.
Heck yeah.
That makes sense.
There's 10,000 fields between there and Lufkin, but no, we're coming back home. Bud's gonna sleep. But he does it his way, and like I say, he's won more championships than I've won games. But he's got his way and he sticks to it. And I think that's the more you do this, the more you're like, man, I appreciate someone that's willing to stick to exactly what they're going to. I'm going to do it my way, and you don't like it, go find something else to do.
And he treats everybody like they're his own. Like he's not going to treat anybody different. He's not going to cut the slack on anybody. Right. You're going to get it his way. It might not be the way you want to get, but I remember he used to have that dog, Stanley.
Yep.
And he'd have Stanley on that. He'd snap, and Stanley would be right beside him. And he'd be out there bickering back and forth at the umpires. And he'd get on the kids, and he'd holler at Stanley. But, just to have that in our community, these kids, they'll look back, like you said, 3 to 4 years from now, and they'll be like, he did it for a reason. He loved us,
Yep.
So that's a huge thing. And like I said earlier, keep us updated on the schedule. I know me and Trey will text y'all, but I'm
curious. Are we superstitious? Do we get like if we win one game, we watching anything?
We're not too superstitious. We have a routine we kind of stick to. We got to make sure our music's playing. We get in the
What are we listening to? Who's DJ?
So Chase DJ's practice and I DJ pregame. So Chase just kind of has it's an eclectic all the way. Like we listen to Paul Wall and Lil Flip, to what's the new guy? Shabuzi, is that his name?
Yeah.
And Zach Bryan.
That's on there. We got some Zach Bryan. We got some country. We got some.
Yeah.
Is there everything?
Shabuzi's that new. He's that.
He's the bar song guy,
like a country rapper. Everybody
I haven't found him yet. I'm about to find him. I'm sure I've seen him on TikTok.
But then I starting last year, we started where we hit pregame and we had played music. So I should have brought we got a big old speaker. It's got our names printed across now. But pregame we listen. It's all like it's marshmallow radio. So like techno, upbeat, like we turn it up.
We're fired up going into this game.
Yeah, like heavy beat stuff and it's loud and.
Do we have walk-up songs?
No, we don't do that.
You know, and hey, boys, come here.
Hey, shout out, happy birthday!
You got a couple roster kids right here. Should be in bed probably.
Is that Miller?
That's Willie Hags, and we got birthday boy Griffin.
Birthday boy. Hey, flex for us, Griff.
I'm good.
Look how good. Look how. Hey, look though. You can tell Griffin's been taken care of. That's an 11-year-old body right there. They didn't make him like that in 19.
Well, is it Griff? You're built different. Is that what we said?
I didn't look like that in 1996.
It looked like that at 11.
No, I didn't look like that at 19.
We were a little softer around the edges, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, you could just see my ribs.
But yeah, we're probably back to what Hall was saying with music and everything. We're probably ruining these kids because the ones that are lucky enough to make Bud's team next year, all that's going to stop.
Oh yeah,
Bud tells me all the time. I hear that music over there on the other field, and we let them wear Hall and Court. We let them wear sunglasses and.
Are we wearing the oven mitts?
Well, okay, so yes. All the kids wear them now.
I saw on TikTok earlier. I was sitting there eating lunch. I was scrolling through TikTok, and like all the kids wanted oven mitts, like the sliding mitts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the moms, in between games at a tournament this summer, the moms went to Dollar Tree, and they bought every oven mitt they could get in there.
Yeah,
they're all wearing oven mitts.
Yeah.
So you can't slide head first in Little League. So you don't see many of them in Little League.
And you know why? Because kids end up with broken wrists, which is what George found out.
Well, did he have a sliding mitt on?
No. George
the hell with the wrist.
George is a Henderson. He lacks any bit of swag or we're far from swag, man.
George isn't the best slider. George does a lot of things really well. George doesn't know how to slide very well.
It doesn't matter if it's head first, foot first. It's typically on his knees and just rolls.
A hybrid slide.
JT just texted and said Todd Kidd does not wear oven mitts.
No.
No, we tell them we're sure to remind them, guys. If you want to wear eye black, sunglasses, a necklace, whatever, that's cool. But just keep in mind, you go over 3 with 3 strikeouts, you look plumb silly with all that stuff on. You better come out and show out if you're wearing that stuff.
And speaking of Jeff Todd, that's the number one statistician in all of Little League.
Game changer guy right there.
Oh, I bet that's the best bookkeeper you could ever have.
There's no question. Heck yeah, he puts them on there, and he will let them know what the pitch count is, and he's always right. He is always right. So
if I lose track of something, he's Chase. Griffin's at 62 pitches.
Somebody just said game changer is wrong. I know P&G 11U is Clint Platt. There is no question. Yeah, let me tell you. So somebody that's not good at their job would be our official weatherman, Clint Platt. He's not good at his job. Encore's radars are broken.
Shout out to our guys at Encore, but
hey, so there's been some there's been a lot of scouting going on. If we're going to put our names on the shirts, we've got a notebook with a breakdown on every team. I can tell you their names, I can tell you their numbers, I can tell you who's pitched. The catcher for College Station tomorrow wears pink shoes. That's how much I've been paying attention. So.
Yeah, so that goes on. Game changer changes everything, guys. This wasn't around when we played. So we get in the state tournament last year. We're playing. I think it was maybe our
West University second game.
It was the second game, and my son gets up, second batter of the game, and you got coaches in the dugout like, hey, left fielder needs to back up a little bit, shortstop, you shade third. And like they've never seen this kid in their life. But they can get into your game changer. They can get spray charts. They can watch videos. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So we learned a thing or two from them. We've implemented some additional strategies this year.
Yeah, a lot's changed since me and Jalen played, where we just knew what they were going to do, and we're like, hey, you should do this.
Yep.
Yeah, baseball in a whole is these kids are way better than we were.
Yeah,
and I think
there's no doubt.
I think a lot of it goes into like I know for a fact like TikTok. Like I get caught watching TikTok, and I've been watching like these kids playing summer ball. They're like 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And I'm like, dude, these kids are like, they're stroking the ball. Like they look like they have a baseball swing. Like they're in the field. Like they know what they're doing. Like, our parents are still walking out there. We got 2 outs, infield, you go 1, like you watch these kids, they're so much more advanced. You can look at the way they dress on the baseball field. They look like ball players. Like we wore our baseball pants over our cleats, and we had guts already. Like,
well, like they were saying like earlier, you go from 11 to 12, and you're just completely different physically. I didn't hit that till I was like 14, so that didn't happen for me.
Yeah,
yeah, we were a little bit different when we played when we were 11.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's 9:30 and it's getting late. It's past my bedtime.
Jalen's got.
We could talk about this all night. So
no, we do thank y'all a lot for taking the time out of y'all's day to come on and do this for us. Like you said, Chase, it's your kid's birthday, and you wanted to come hang out live for the Pines. I know we're special, and we'll buy you lunch next Tuesday. How about that?
That sounds good. He's not worried about me. He's up there. He's up there on the Xbox, I'm sure.
Well, thank you to the few that tuned in tonight. We will have this posted.
The few that tuned in.
We didn't have 2. I think we had 2.
No, we had more than 2 pods. I counted. But thank you to everybody. Want to wish a big shout out to these guys from Lufkin getting ready to go play tomorrow. From the 10, the 11, the 12-year-olds, go win. Represent Lufkin. Remember who you're playing for. Remember the name on your front and the back. All those good things your coaches are going to tell you tomorrow. We want to give a big shout out to our guys at Zilker Belts. Use discount code PINES936 to receive 25% off all online orders. Chase, Hall, don't forget, send us the details on the games this week so we can try to make a game. If we're not playing pickleball, I'm sure we'll try to get on the road and make a game.
Shout out Lufkin Parks and Rec for the new fields. I'm sure
that buddy. I saw buddy took a lot of heat on Facebook, but I don't think people know it all goes into doing all the things that those guys were doing up there, especially with the way the weather was those couple weeks we had. And
wettest May ever, or whatever that was, April.
So when they finish concession stands and bathrooms and get all the new scoreboards out, kind of the final pieces, it's going to be the nicest Little League field within 200 miles.
Hey, maybe we can host a sectional.
It's awesome.
Yeah, maybe we can host a sectional. We want you guys to come.
I hope so next year. I hope it's coming next year.
Yeah, maybe we can get Gary Ivins on the radio because we make a Williamsport or something like that. We get a little deeper in. We get nasty on the radio broadcast to these kids. I know he would love to do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, I'll finish up by saying whether the 12U Williamsport's a hard thing. That takes a lot of luck. I think people get to talking about that. If those kids don't make it to Williamsport, it won't be a failure. That's an excellent baseball team. You got to have a lot of things go your way. That's one of the things we don't talk about Williamsport. We want to win state, and if anything else happens, what's up, dog? Then great. And so
you got to win 4 tournaments just to get there.
Yeah, there's a lot of you got to have a lot of bounces go your way, and a lot of things that you get lucky on. And so but they got some kids that can really compete every night, so that'll be fun team to keep up with as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, again, thanks everybody. Tune in live with Pines. We'll have this posted on Facebook hopefully tomorrow. Me and Trey can figure out how to do it all, but
call Cole, he'll get it for y'all.
Yeah, good luck, guys, and
appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, thank y'all.